I'm out of my mind, out of my fucking mind. I'm out of my mind, out of my it's B.O. I'm out of my beat, out of my I'm out of my fucking mind, out of my fucking mind. I'm out of my fucking mind. GG got it, oh my, I was doing fine. Once upon a time, till my brain left and it didn't say bye. Don't look at me wrong, I'm out of my mind. Like Nostradamus and Da Vinci combined. So paranoid of espionage, I'm watching my doors and checking my lines. My brain's on vacation, they're telling me, and I'm bipolar to the severity. And I need medication apparently, and some military convulsive therapy. I am a rebel, but yes, I'm so militant. Still I'm eligible for disabilities. I am psychotic, but there is no remedy. This is not figurative, this is literally. If these niggas go dumb, I go to the mental facility. See, man, I'm so out there, I slap vibes with E.T. I don't need a feature, they don't want me eat 'em a la carte when I'm on this beat. If you feel the same as me, then you gotta agree. I'm out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my fucking mind. I'm out of my mind, out of my I'm out of my out of my I'm out of my fucking mind, out of my fucking mind.
Hey guys, Bart here with Tully Television. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing. And I hope that I can bring you some entertainment and some fun for the day. And if I've done that, hit that like button. Like Moon Knight is hitting that Anibus dog by the end of episode 1. That's right guys, we're going to be getting into Moon Knight episode 1. The Goldfish Problem. Directed by Mohammed Diab, stars Oscar Wilde as Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, and Moon Knight. Ethan Hawke is Arthur Harrow. May Calamai is Layla. F. Murray Abraham is the voice Knoshu. Kareem El Hakim is the Knoshu performer. Lucy Thackeray is Donna. Saffron Hawken is Dylan. The Steakhouse Dinner Date character. And yeah, let's get into it. We see Arthur Harrow beginning his day, his routine, drinking a glass of water, and deciding to smash it up with a hammer inside of like a washcloth, and decides to put the broken glass into his shoes, and then just proceeds to get up and walk to do his thing for the day. And that's again letting us show us us getting to see where his mindset is at for the rest. It's set tone for where his mindset is for the rest of the series, his dedication. We then see Stephen Grant getting up and starting his routine. We see him unbuckle himself from a shackle that he has on himself. It looks like to prevent himself from sleepwalking. He pulls tape off the front door, indicating no one's coming in or out. Gives his mother a call, feeds his goldfish, and then goes off to his job at the museum, in which he is a gift shop attendant. But we see, as he's giving information about mummification to a child that was there on a field trip, we see that he's way more knowledgeable and has more expertise than selling candy to the children, as Donna, his boss, just tells him to do when she comes over. He also told her about some merchandising thing that seems to be misrepresenting some Egyptian history. And she kind of blows him off that too, and says that his hopes of becoming a tour guide are very low to becoming reality for him. He then has another co-worker, Dylan, come up to him and confirm their steakhouse dinner date for Friday. He doesn't remember asking her out. He's confused about why he would even ask her out to a steakhouse when he's a vegetarian. And Donna kind of just looks at him like, oh, well, that's why you're a loser. He how do you not remember any of this? And why would you set it up at a steakhouse anyway? So yeah, she kind of just looks at him and, you know, kind of basically says, "This is why you're a loser." On his way home, he stops and he vents to a street performer who is doing like a statue type of thing performance where they just sit there and stay still, and he's venting to them. Um, as he goes home, and we see the nightly routine of again, like calling his mother, who never seems to get on the phone. He never seems to get a hold of her, or she never seems to call back either. So there's a running theory that Mark Spector, the other personality, is the mother that he's calling, and somehow to make Steve feel like he's living a normal life. Because, again, the running theory is that Stephen Grant is the way he's coping with the trauma of becoming dead and then coming back to life with the pact of Knoshu that he made. But then when he tries to use techniques to stay up, like doing more research on Egyptian history, Rubik's Cubes and such, but the next thing he knows, he's waking up in the middle of a field with a broken type of jaw, bloody mouth, and he notices that men are starting to chase him with guns and shoot at him, so he starts running to a village off in the distance. And that's when he sees Arthur Harrow, or for the first time, or at least that's what we're thinking. And we see Arthur Harrow, who is the avatar for Amet, use his cane to read if someone's soul is good or not. And if you pass the test and your soul is good, you get to live in afterlife in peace. But if you've done something wrong, your soul will be sucked out of you and fed to Amit. Now, Amit can tell when you've done something wrong. If you're currently doing something wrong, or if you ever will do something wrong, they can see all points of history and time simultaneously. So that is Amit's power, and they become stronger with each soul that he absorbs. He then notices that Stephen is there and calls him mercenary. So that means that they've had a previous interaction before that Stephen is unaware of, obviously due to it being suppressed. This is when Konshu starts talking to him and starts taking control of his body, because he has this scarab artifact that they're trying to get from him. At one point when he's being surrounded, he loses consciousness and comes back up again as Stephen, and with people laying around him all bloodied and everything, and decides to make his getaway in a cupcake truck. Now, through the winding ways and everything, we see Stephen and Mark taking control back and forth, because when Stephen can't commit an act of violence to defend himself, Mark takes over and does it for him. When the final two guys were flattened by rolling logs of wood coming down the side of the mountain, Stephen wakes up at his home. Same routine, and it doesn't seem like he was in or out, and just chalks it up to a dream. When he goes to meet the date at the steakhouse, he discovers it's Sunday instead of Friday. She basically tells him to fuck off, and you can tell the physically confused And like Oscar Wilde is a really great actor and is a really good fit so far for this character. In my opinion, Ethan Hawke has been great too. The cinematography looks great, the direction. Um, so when he goes home, he starts to notice that there's a problem with the goldfish having two fins instead of one fin, and when he brings it back to the pet shop, she says, "I told you yesterday the same thing I'm telling you today. Fish can't just grow fins like that, and whatever. It's not like Finding Nemo, or whatever." And he's even confused because he doesn't remember that initial trip to the pet shop. Very much upset that he's losing track of time. And then when he goes back to the house, at some point he finds a phone and a set of keys, and a ton of missed calls by someone named Layla. Calls her up. She calls him Mark. He's confused about why she's calling him Mark and why she's calling him out for the goofy accent too. And again, very confused about what's going on. And as he runs out of the house, he sees a vision of Konshu, and only to be interrupted by an old woman coming into the elevator. As he's on his way to work the next morning, he sees more images of Konshu and is finally confronted by Arthur Harrow at the museum. Arthur Harrow explains to him that he is the avatar of Amit and that he is the avatar of Konshu. When he tries to read his soul, there's it's just nothing to read, because the theory is that there is no soul left to read, being he died and was able to come back to life. What confuses Arthur as to how that's even possible, how he has no soul, because he's probably unaware of those actions between Mark and Khonshu. But when they get distracted by a group of museum tourists, Stephen makes his way out of that area and goes about his day of work. As he's leaving the museum, he's being stalked by an Anibus dog. But as you see him in reflections of the windows and stuff, you see Mark just standing there looking out towards us, the audience, as Stephen begins to walk away, to represent the split that's going on in his brain and how Mark is realizing he needs to come out. When the dog finally corners Stephen in this bathroom and he's banging on the door, Mark is saying, "Stephen, you don't understand right now, but you need to let me take control. That's the only way we're going to be able to get out of this situation." And then we see the beginning of Stephen handing over control to Mark, Moon Knight. And as we do like a 180, the rotation to where now we're going to see the other side of the perspective of in the bathroom. I'm not going to say it's a 360, a 180, right? Because 360 is complete turn. That's always funny. Oh, he made a complete 360. Oh, so he's the same person. You mean to say he did a complete 180? But yeah, anyways, they did like a 180 rotation to... Now the dog is trying to escape and Moon Knight drags him back in. And now we see the full Moon Knight costume on him from behind. He's just wailing on this dog, wailing. And just not, until beats his head in. And then he gets up, faces the camera, and then walks towards us, and the episode ends. The costume looks great. The action, that alone was great. To see Moon Knight's first official piece of action in the MCU. My only little gripe was that the personalities knew each other in the comic books, whereas to here they didn't know each other, or at least Steven was unaware of these other personalities. Where in the comic book they all know about each other. But I understand why they're doing that. They're using Steven as a way to explore everything that's been going on, to help the viewer explore everything that's been going on and answer those questions through Stephen Grant. So it's an understandable change. Not everybody can be. Not everyone has been a Moon Knight fan or has known Moon Knight before this, like myself and other fans of him. So, there's got to be some concession. Yeah, I give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Just pretty much for that, and then some other. Like I would have picked a different story to go with initially for Moon Knight. Because Arthur Harrow's really not a big known villain. But again, Ethan Hawke is a great actor. The character seems to be interesting enough at the moment to have me invested at least into episode 2. And it is a 6-episode run. So we'll see how it goes. I have faith with this episode. I have faith that will continue to go well. I'm sure there's going to be gripes here and there throughout the series, but we're all entitled to our own interpretation of it without it necessarily being wrong or right. But let me know what you guys think down below. Should they have used a different villain, different story? What's your favorite part about episode 1 so far? I don't know, let me know, guys. But, like I said, thank you for stopping by. And until next time, peace.
I'm out of my mind, out of my fucking mind. Out of my mind, out of my out of my fucking mind, out of my fucking mind. Wait, if I'm here and you're there, and I'm here, and you're there, and I'm here, and you're there, if I'm here and you're there, and I'm here, and you're there, and I'm here, and you're there, and I'm here,